The 2025 Oscar noms are finally here.
Hot off the press.
Okay, so first up, Anora. This one's got a ton of buzz.
Big time. Best Picture, Best Director.
Sean Baker, right.
That's the winner.
And Best Actor for Mikey Madison.
Which is interesting
I
considering
know, right?
the article uses he, him pronouns for Mikey in other parts.
Yeah, we noticed that too.
Definitely something to unpack there.
But first, let's talk Best Picture. What makes a movie a Best Picture contender anyway?
Good question. Is it just awards buzz?
Or is there something, like, deeper going on?
I think it's a bit of both. You need that critical acclaim,
Right.
but also a film that captures the zeitgeist, you know? Speaks to something bigger.
That's a great point. We should keep that in mind as we go through the other nominees, because some of them might challenge those assumptions. Okay, let's talk Best Actress.
Oh, this is a juicy one.
Stacked. Right.
Completely. Cynthia Erivo's for Wicked.
Sophia Gascon for Emilia Perez.
Mikey Madison again for Anora.
Demi Moore for The Substance.
Wow.
And Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here.
Such an amazing range of talent, backgrounds, styles. What does that say about cinema today?
That's what's so fascinating about awards season. It sparks these conversations, you know.
Totally.
And speaking of Wicked, we can't forget Ariana Grande.
Oh, right.
Best Supporting Actress for Glenda. That movie is making waves. Did you ever see the show on Broadway?
Years ago. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Okay, on to some surprises. Or maybe you'd call them snubs.
Some eyebrows were definitely raised. Guy Pearce in The Brutalist.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Monica Barbaro in A Complete Unknown, too. Are these dark horse contenders? Who knows?
And Jeremy Strong from The Apprentice, Best Supporting Actor.
That's intriguing, his method acting, right?
Super intense sometimes, polarizing for sure.
It's a bold choice for the Academy.
Okay, so think about your favorite performances this year. Any snubs that made you want to scream?
Let us know.
Seriously, hit us up on social media. We want to hear your hot takes.
Absolutely.
Okay, one last thing before we move on. We have to talk about the elephant in the room.
The host.
Conan O'Brien.
This could be interesting.
Right. Can he handle the Oscars? Or will it be a total train wreck? I kind of hope for a little train wreck, not gonna lie.
The host can make or break the night, for sure.
Think about past hosts, right? Some are legendary, some...
Not so much.
Exactly. This choice with Conan, it says something, doesn't it?
Definitely a statement.
Okay, back to Anora for a sec. We said it's the frontrunner, but what makes it so special?
It's not your typical Oscar bait, you know?
Right.
No historical epics, no tearjerker biopics, just pure character-driven drama.
And the buzz is all about the performances, especially Mikey Madison's.
Which, again, brings us back to those pronouns.
Yeah. The article uses he, him for Mikey, but this performance is getting nominated in both acting categories.
Best Actor and Best Actress. That's almost unheard of.
It's fascinating, right?
Definitely makes you think about how we define gender in cinema.
Exactly. It's not just about who wins the award, it's about these bigger questions, you know?
Absolutely. These nominations spark conversations about representation, about identity, about how we tell stories.
And that's why we do this deep dive.
To get people thinking, talking, engaging.
So let's keep going, shall we? We've got the front runner, the surprises, the snubs.
But what about the upsets? Who's lurking in the shadows, ready to steal the show?
Ooh, that's a good one.
We'll get to that, don't worry. But first,
Let's take a look at the Best Director race.
because that one's gonna be a nail-biter. It's gonna be a tight one, for sure.
So Sean Baker, obviously, for Anora, but who else is in the running?
Well, James Mangold, for A Complete Unknown, is a force to be reckoned with.
He's got a real knack for visual storytelling, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely. His use of light and shadow, creating that atmosphere of mystery and suspense.
It's like you're right there in the story, feeling it all.
Exactly. And then there's always the possibility of an underdog story.
Right. Could a smaller film, like The Brutalist, sneak in and surprise us all?
It's not out of the question. Sometimes a film just captures the hearts of the Academy in unexpected ways.
It's all about those personal connections, right? What resonates with each voter.
Precisely. But you know, before we get too deep into the director's race, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier.
Oh yeah, what's that?
The surprise nominations. The ones that made everyone go, huh.
Oh, you mean like Guy Pearce in The Brutalist?
Yeah.
I still haven't seen that one, but now I'm really curious.
It's a slow burn, but Pierce's performance is absolutely haunting.
Haunting, huh? I like that. What about Monica Barbaro in A Complete Unknown? Any thoughts on that one?
A Complete Unknown is a beautifully shot film, very thought-provoking, and Barbaro gives a really captivating performance.
Captivating, okay. Sounds like I need to add that to my watch list.
Definitely. And speaking of performances that defy expectations, what about Jeremy Strong and his method acting?
Oh yeah, Strong. He's a fascinating case, isn't he? Some people love him, some people think he's a bit much.
Method acting, when it's done well, can be incredibly powerful.
It's all about finding that emotional truth, right?
Exactly. Immersing yourself in the character, blurring the lines between yourself and the role.
So it's not just about pretending to be someone else, it's about experiencing their world, their emotions.
You got it. And while Strong might push those boundaries a little further than some, you can't deny his commitment.
It's almost like he's challenging what it means to be an actor.
Right. He makes you question those assumptions about how far you should go to embody a character.
It's interesting, for sure. Makes you wonder if that intensity is part of what resonates with Oscar voters.
I think it might be. The Oscars have a history of rewarding those transformative performances, those actors who really disappear into their roles.
I think Daniel Day-Lewis, Meryl Streep, Robert De Niro, they all have that ability to completely transform.
And it's that level of authenticity, that rawness, that really stays with you.
It's the difference between watching a performance and actually feeling it, right?
Exactly. And I think that's what the Oscars are all about. Celebrating those moments when art transcends the screen.
Beautifully said. Okay, so we've talked about the actors, but what about the directors? The ones who bring these stories to life?
Well, we've already mentioned Sean Baker and James Mangold, but there are a few other contenders worth mentioning.
Oh, like Greta Gerwig, nominated for Barbie. I did not see that coming.
Gerwig is a visionary director, and her take on Barbie is anything but predictable.
I'll admit I was skeptical at first. Barbie, really? But Gerwig being involved changed my mind.
She's a master at telling stories that resonate with women, and I think she's done something really special with this film.
I'm intrigued, for sure. So what about the other directors in the running? Who else should we be paying attention to?
Well, there's Park Chan-wook, nominated for Decision to Leave. He's known for his visually stunning and psychologically complex films.
Ooh, I love his work.
Oh.
Old Boy is one of my all-time favorites.
His films are definitely not for the faint of heart, but they're always brilliantly executed.
All right, so we've got Baker, Mangold, Gerwig, Park Chan-wook. This is shaping up to be a really interesting race for Best Director.
It is, and I think it reflects the diversity of voices and perspectives that are emerging in cinema today.
It's exciting to see, isn't it? This kind of evolution of storytelling, this willingness to push boundaries and challenge conventions.
Absolutely, and it's not just happening in the director's chair. We're seeing it in the writing, the acting, the cinematography. It's like a renaissance of creativity.
I love that. A renaissance of creativity. That's a perfect way to describe it.
And it makes you wonder, what's next? What other stories are waiting to be told? What new voices will emerge?
Those are the questions that keep me coming back for more. It's like this never-ending exploration of the human experience.
And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Cinema has the power to transport us, to make us feel, to make us think, to make us see the world in new and unexpected ways.
So well said. Okay, I think it's time for us to take a little break and let our listeners absorb all this amazing information. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to discuss our predictions for the winners and to explore the lasting legacy of these nominated films. All right, folks, we're back, ready to talk Oscar predictions.
Let's do this. Best Picture, where do we even begin? Anora is the obvious frontrunner, but...
But is it too obvious? Sometimes the Academy likes to throw a curveball, you know?
True. Remember when everyone thought The Power of the Dog was a lock?
Oh yeah, and then Coda swept in and stole the show.
Exactly. So, while I still think Anora has a strong chance...
I mean, it's got nominations in pretty much every major category.
Yeah, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Adapted Screenplay.
I wouldn't be shocked if it swept the awards.
A sweep would be impressive. But let's not forget about the other contender.
A Complete Unknown is definitely a dark horse.
That one's really stuck with a lot of people.
And James Mangold, he's a director who knows how to deliver a crowd pleaser.
Oh, for sure. He's got that Midas touch.
All right, so Best Picture is a tough one to call. What about Best Director?
Even tougher, Sean Baker for Anora, obviously.
His work is always so raw and visceral.
But then you've got Greta Gerwig for Barbie. Talk about a game changer.
A Barbie movie nominated for Best Director. Who would have thought?
It's proof that Gerwig can do anything. She's a force of nature.
Okay, so we've got Baker, we've got Gerwig. Who else is in the mix?
Well, we can't forget James Mangold, again, for A Complete Unknown. And then there's Park Chan-wook for Decision to Leave.
Ooh, Park Chan-wook. His films are always so visually stunning.
And Twisted. Don't forget Twisted.
True. It's going to be a tough race, that's for sure.
All right, let's dive into the acting categories. Best Actor.
Oh, this one's a heartbreaker. Mikey Madison for Anora, of course.
A double nominee. History in the making, potentially.
I know. It's so cool to see the Academy recognizing non-binary performers in this way.
It's about time, honestly.
But Madison's up against some stiff competition. Guy Pearce for The Brutalist.
Pearce is a master of his craft. He can convey so much with just a glance.
And Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice.
Strong is always intense, but this performance is something else.
I've heard whispers that he stayed in character for the entire shoot.
Wouldn't surprise me one bit.
It's going to be interesting to see who the Academy favors. The quiet intensity of Pearce, the transformative power of Madison, or the all-consuming commitment of Strong.
It's anyone's guess at this point.
Okay, Best Actress, another tough one.
Cynthia Erivo for Wicked is the obvious frontrunner.
Her vocals are insane.
Yeah.
I mean, she's already won a Tony for this role.
But the Oscars are a different game.
Carla Sofia Gascon could be a dark horse here. Her performance in Emilia Perez is getting rave reviews.
She's definitely one to watch.
And then there's Demi Moore, back in the game with a vengeance.
Moore's performance in The Substance is quietly devastating.
She's proving she's still got it, for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, last but not least, Best Supporting Actress. Ariana Grande for Wicked. Right.
She's the popular choice, for sure.
And she's great in the movie, but honestly, I think Monica Barbaro might steal this one.
A complete unknown, really.
Her performance is subtle, but it packs a punch.
You might be onto something. I'll have to give that one another look.
So there you have it, folks. Our totally unofficial, probably wrong, but definitely entertaining Oscar predictions.
Who knows what will happen on the big night? That's the beauty of it all.
Exactly. But remember, the Oscars are just one night. The real magic of cinema is what happens after the awards are handed out.
The conversations we have, the connections we make, the way these films stay with us.
That's what truly matters. So keep watching, keep exploring, and keep those conversations going. We want to hear your thoughts on this year's Oscar race. Head over to our social media pages and tell us who, why you think will win. And most importantly, tell us which films have touched your heart, challenged your thinking, and left a lasting impression. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone. Until next time, keep the magic of cinema alive.